Hey guys, this is our 6th episode of the Broken Pictures podcast / YouTube show where we discuss our favorite things, or the top 5 things, rather, that you might have missed in pop culture this week. What's your favorite thing this week, you think?
I'd have to say Glass.
Yeah, I have to agree. I've been watching a lot of Game of Thrones stuff, so I'm going to say Game of Thrones. But
How are you going to say I have to agree and then say something else?
Well, I can like 2 things. All right, so there may potentially be spoilers for your favorite TV shows, movies, comics, and or video games. You have been warned. This is the FOMO Show. Hey guys, this is Dylan.
And I'm Lydia.
And thanks for watching. Wherever you're watching, YouTube, Facebook, or if you're listening on podcast, we appreciate you tuning in. Also, hello to all our new listeners / watchers out there in the States, internationally, and beyond. Don't forget to check out the website. That's www.broken.pictures.com. And on social media, we're on Facebook for Broken Pictures Social, Instagram and Twitter, Broken_social, Patreon, it's going to be Broken Pictures. And if you would please, especially friends and family, I mean, come on, if you would like, share, and subscribe. Sorry. And if you would rate and review if you're listening on podcasts, and that lets the algorithm push us to the front and find more visitors and listeners and whatnot. So if you are on YouTube, don't forget to mash that little bell.
Ding. Sorry, Quin normally does that.
Yeah, my sound effects guy is out today. So I'm sorry. Mash the little bell for notifications whenever we post a new video. We posted a lot this week. So special notes, as you can see, Quin is out. He's got some personal business he's got to attend to today. So we wish him well and his family well, everything that's going on. So also Lydia and I, our entire family has been sick all over the weekend. I think my son was the only one that didn't get sick.
And he was out from school one day.
Yeah.
Just with different sickness.
Yeah. So we're so we're going to be coughing, and you can probably hear my voice and Lydia's voice especially. Today's just going to be a shortened, just abridged version where we're just going to do the top 5 and cut it short. So just to cover it, just to get it done. So yep. All right, moving on. So don't forget, spoiler alert. Of course, we get spoilery, so just be aware whatever we post. And I might do like I did last week and cut this up into smaller pieces and post them separately. And if you want to listen to the long form, then you get to see it in its entirety, and the inside jokes make more sense and that type of thing. So, and you get to pick up on some other things that you wouldn't get in the smaller portions, even though the smaller portions are more bite size. And I just want to take a moment to brag, and it might even be not real, but the Ghostbusters segment that I posted from last week, where we talked about Ghostbusters 3, I posted the link on Instagram and everything, and it was liked by the official Blues Brothers page, which it says that it's run by Dan Aykroyd, so that's pretty cool if it's legitimate. Otherwise, I'm just gonna live in this cloud. So
the same cloud where you thought Sheryl Crow messaged you.
Well, that cloud pops very fast. That's another story entirely. Dan Aykroyd didn't DM me and try to slide into my DMs there, get my digits and whatnot. Anyways, it wasn't actually Sheryl Crow. So yeah.
If you didn't pick up on that.
Well, it took me a minute because I was like, what? No, what?
I mean, I'm sure that since Sheryl Crow isn't here today sitting beside you rather than I'm sure that they got that it wasn't Sheryl Crow.
Well, yeah. she was in the same place that I was, and it was the next day. So there's reason for me to hesitate. Okay. Anyways, so what did we listen to, watch? What are we into this week? I'm taking that yawn as a sign that I'm still going to talk. So, let's see. What did we watch for? Oh, for family movie night, we watched A Monster Calls, and that, like, we've kind of been putting that off because we didn't really know too much what it was about, and the description was kind of dicey. But it turned out to be a really sweet movie.
It was super sad.
Yeah, it was sad, but it was like one of those sweet and good sads. You know what I mean?
No, it wasn't.
You don't think so? I really enjoyed it.
It was sad. It wasn't like good sad.
Well, yeah, it was helping a little boy process what was going on with his mom dying and stuff like that.
Yeah, but his mom still died. So that doesn't make it good sad.
Well, that's real life. That's what stories are for. They're to help us cope with things like that.
Yes, the storyline was good and sad, but it wasn't good sad.
What's good sad then?
You said good sad. Good sad is like, oh wow, that's so sweet. It makes me want to cry. That was so sad. It made me want to cry, not because it was so sweet.
It wasn't just like
sad?
Heartbreaking. Like, I felt it was like a melancholy good sad. That's just, you know, hey, we're all entitled.
I really have to rethink a lot of things about our life.
We're all entitled to our opinions.
Yours is wrong though. Yesterday we watched Glass.
Mm-hmm. We watched Glass last night, and we're going to do, as one of our top 5 things, we're going to just do our review for that. Usually we do a first reaction review where we go see the movie and then we go get in the car and we talk about it immediately, where we really haven't had time to process it. It's more of like a first reaction type deal, first impressions. Whereas we talked about it on the way home last night, and so we've got some ideas and some disagreements and stuff like that. But so yeah, because Glass is like very up in the air right now. There's a lot of people that think different things about it, and we kind of hit on both sides of it. So let's see, what else did we watch?
Watched True Detective.
True Detective, of course.
I think that's all we really watched.
Oh, I stayed up late one night and watched Batman Bad Blood.
What night?
On Netflix. Like the other night. It was good. I liked it. I mean, I like the DC animated, more adulty type stuff. It was on Netflix. It was good, and like, I'm not familiar with. She's like, when?
I get so confused. Like, I don't even have enough time in the day to sit down and think. I don't know where you get the time. I'm not like normal people. I don't require as much sleep as normal people. So like, I don't. Let me check my clock and see what time we're filming today.
Stop. Yeah, I'm a night owl. I'll just leave it at that. But anyways.
That's more fair.
Okay, whatever. You've like told me before. Yeah, I don't know how you do it. You just don't sleep as much as other people. Yeah, because at least like 2 nights of the week I don't sleep because I'm editing or whatever.
But that's not what we're talking about.
It doesn't matter the purpose. It's the actual act. Anyways.
I'm just saying that it's taking up time.
Okay. Anyways, so it was a good end. I'm not familiar with Batwoman. And I saw that she's going to be getting a new series on the CW, starring Ruby Rose as Batwoman. But I know Batgirl, so I didn't know if it was the same character, if it was a different character. But apparently, it's an all new character, and this Batman Bad Blood was a really good introduction. I think there was like 5 or 6 different Batmen women, including Robin. So it was like there's several different ones, including like Nightwing and all these other ones. But so Batman's got a big family, and there was bad blood between them. Yeah, but Batwoman apparently these cartoons are definitely more adult oriented. They're PG-13, but there's still, there's some cussing, and there's Batwoman fighting in lingerie, and she's a lesbian. she fights in her lingerie, and she's spunky, and so Ruby Rose was a good pick.
How's that PG-13?
Well, it's a cartoon, so I don't know. Yeah. You got me. Anyways, it was a decent story, and it was a good introduction to Batwoman, if you're not familiar with Batwoman. But yeah, I thought Ruby Rose, being from Orange is the New Black, and kick butt fighter from John Wick 2, and she was a good pick for Batwoman. So let's see. I think that's it. Oh, we did last Tuesday night after we filmed, we went and to the premiere for Sweet Inspirations, a little movie that not a little movie, but a movie that I had a little part in. I actually got to be on screen, which was pretty cool. And we posted a review from that on YouTube if you want to go check that out. It is starring Dean Cain and a lot of local talented actors and actresses. And he actually was on, I want to say, the Today Show talking about it. So it's a Pure Flix movie. It's a faith-based movie. It's pretty good. So I guess we'll move on to the number one movie of the week. It's my best Quin impression. So Glass does it again. Number one movie of the week. Rated PG-13. New in theaters this week, we've got, let me pull it up. I didn't take the time to make notes this time because I've been feeling like crap. All right, so we've got Miss Bala, starring Gina Rodriguez, PG-13. They Shall Not Grow Old, rated R. That one came for a limited release before. I guess it's coming back on February 1st. That is a Christopher Nolan World War II epic. He took some old footage and colorized it and stuff. Excuse me. Arctic, starred in Mads Mikkelsen, rated PG-13. Velvet Buzzsaw, Jake Gyllenhaal, rated R. This is a really interesting Netflix movie. It's like a artsy type murder movie. It's kind of cool looking. The Wild Pear Tree, it's not rated. Piercing, rated R. Then Came You, rated or not rated. It's starring Maisie Williams and Nina Dobrev. Braid, not rated. Daughter of Mine, not rated. The Golem, also not rated. The Gandhi Murder, not rated. A Breath Away, also not rated. The Unicorn, not rated. Jimi Hendrix Electric Church, starring Paul McCartney. I assume that this is a documentary that I am very interested to see now. It's not rated. St. Bernard Syndicate, not rated. Gara Bandal, Only God Knows, PG-13. I feel like my hoarseness is really contributing to my movie voice here. So yeah, book me now while you still can to read off your trailer. Ek Ladi Ko Deka To Isi Laga. I probably butchered that. It's not rated. Outlaws, starring Ryan Coor, rated R. Painkillers, not rated. An Affair to Die For, not rated. Extreme Job, not rated. The Least of These, The Graham Stain Story, PG-13, with Stephen Baldwin. So, those are what's in theaters this week. They're probably Thursday or Friday. Some of them will come out a little earlier. So, yep, go check them out. Look up the thing and visit your local theater. Support your local theaters. Hashtag support your local theater. You want to read the Blu-ray and DVD releases this week?
The Nutcracker and the Four Realms is... It doesn't say the rating on there.
That's fine. You don't have to do that.
Okay. Hunter Killer, The Wife, Boy Erased, which looks pretty good. Indivisible, Suspiria.
I want to see that one.
Baller Season 4, Crashing Season 2, Doctor Who, the 11th series, Humans 3.0, Kidding season 1, so that's got Jim Carrey in it.
Showtime.
Reign of the Supermen.
Yeah, that's another one of those DC cartoons that I want to see.
Slice, Willow, not to be confused with This Willow.
Yeah, This Willow actually is a one of my favorites from being a kid. My family kind of has an inside joke about this. Willow, Kaya. Anyways, my sister will get that joke. Yeah, so it is on Vudu this week. I just saw Vudu is releasing it on digital, so you'll be able to get that. And they're having a contest. Anybody that pre-orders it is entered to a contest to get, like, I want to say like a signed copy or something like that.
Guess I know what we'll be doing this week. And then the last one is Blood Brother. So that's it.
Cool. All right. Thanks for reading those, babe.
No problem.
Babe.
Okay, thanks, babe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You didn't mention that you were watching The Office again this week.
I'm always watching The Office.
Well, update the people. The people want to know.
It's so often that by the time I get to an episode, I'm like, oh, wow, I just watched this episode because I'm running through it so quickly in my spare time. Like, it's gotten to the point where I just have my AirPods in and I'll have it like on the kitchen counter while I'm cooking dinner or something, and I don't have to be watching it because I know what's happening from, like, based on what I'm looking or listening to. Like, I know if Jim's looking at the camera or if Pam's doing, air high five to Jim. Like, I know what's happening based on what's going on.
Yeah, you might as well just have it as the audio and just play because you're watching it in your head the whole time. Yeah. So also don't forget this giveaway is going on. Today is still January. This is going to be given away at the end of January. This podcast or YouTube show might not air before February 1st, but the end of January is the cutoff date to enter for this. So if it does come out and this is still January 31st or whatever, hurry up and get entered. You have to go onto YouTube and like a FOMO Show video on YouTube, comment on a FOMO Show video on YouTube, and subscribe to our channel. So we appreciate that. And this is the one for January. This is our January giveaway. It is a 3D Blu-ray of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Great movie, really funny. And next month we've got... Next month is Black Panther. So our February giveaway is going to be Black Panther. So, boom, get ready for that one. And that's only gonna be for February. So the Guardians of the Galaxy is January, and then we'll talk about February next week. All right, so our top 5. That was my phone, I swear.
No, he farted. He straight farted. No, I'm just kidding. See, now it's not going to do it. It was a lie. This is your butt.
Anyways. So,
okay, I've got to stop you.
Do I got hair?
This is bothering me so bad. Yeah, it's like right down in the middle of your face.
Like a...
No, it was just one.
A Japanime? Or anime? I don't think people say Japanime anymore. That might be considered racist. That used to be a thing, like Japanime, but now it's just anime.
All right.
Mm-hmm. So, for our top 5, I'm losing my mind here. Excuse me. Yeah, sorry guys, we told you this one was going to be kind of rough. So, our top 5 picks of the week for pop culture and entertainment news. Number 1 is going to be our Glass review. So we'll go ahead and get into that. So we did watch Glass last night. And we last week or so, we watched Unbreakable to get ready for it because she'd never seen it. We watched Split, and And at the end, she's like, what the heck just happened?
I thought it was based on a true story the whole time because, I don't know, somewhere I don't know if I was told that or I dreamt that or whatever. So before we watched Split, I'm like, what is, how, what? And so then he was like, oh yeah, there's a prequel movie that we need to watch. I was like, a prequel, what? And he was like, oh yeah, it's based on like, sort of like a comic booky type thing. And I was just like, bruh, why are you going to tell me this after I hate the movie because I have no clue what's happening?
And he turned into the Beast and she's just like, what?
It's like, I mean, I don't get it because like, what's the psychological angle here? Because it's not real, you know? It was just very confusing until I watched or was told that it wasn't based on a true story.
Yeah, it's like you're watching a David Fincher movie like Seven or something up until that point. And it's just, whoa.
So yeah, we watched Unbreakable, which was really good, and then Glass, which I feel like picked up where Unbreakable and Split left off really well. They did that. They did a great job doing that, and it really tied them all together in a really seamless way. I feel like it wasn't forced. They didn't just try to just really stretch anything to make it work. Like it just worked. It was done well.
As somebody who has written and directed had my work performed before thousands of people and been able to see reactions and how things fit together and how they work and what doesn't work. It was really like, I really appreciated the craftsmanship where it all felt like one cohesive story and one cohesive world. And it wasn't like they're just going to go into left field and, oh, by the way, there's this new thing. It felt like it all existed in the same world and nothing really felt out of place.
There's not to say that there were some weird things in the movie, but like based on storyline, I didn't feel like it was forced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some people, like I saw one person say something about, oh, this movie was obviously made by people who aren't familiar with comics. And I think it's meant to be like an homage to comics. It's not meant to be a DC movie or a Marvel movie or an actual comic book hero movie. It's like an obscure kind of offshoot of that. And I felt like it was solid in that world and it was believable. And James McAvoy is just phenomenal. Even though when the one issue I did have with his acting, or it wasn't necessarily his acting, it was the Beast. When you have a character like the Beast that was just so savage and so animalistic and just raw, when he speaks, the more he speaks, the less believable he becomes as a savage.
I can agree with that. But I feel like for probably what he was working with and everything, it was still done well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I just agree. Like they should have written him less lines when he was in the Beast.
Yeah, they're trying to play up like his purpose or whatever, and it was. I still didn't get it, like the whole broken thing necessarily. Even though my whole business is named Broken Pictures, and it's the same basic premise. I mean, I'm not going around trying to break people, but. But recognizing brokenness in our lives and all that kind of stuff, I get that and I appreciate that. But there's still some things that I just didn't understand where he saved the girl and
but the Beast didn't save the girl. Kevin saved the girl.
Yeah, well, this is from Split, and we did warn you there was going to be spoilers, so you know you can. The name is going to be above in the scene in the frame here. So when it change, if you don't want to see spoilers, you can fast forward until it changes, and then we'll be on to the next subject. If you're on YouTube, if you're on podcast, just skip ahead a little bit.
If you're on podcast, you'll just have to do something else.
Yeah, get in your car and drive away. Anyway,
such a stretch to make the accent work. Yeah, so it was just really awkward that they made Casey's character in love with Kevin. Just like I thought that was a little weird.
That was weird.
It was a little unnecessary. I could have gotten it, but there was no character development previous to that for her.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe like some kind of, what is it? The syndrome where people like fall in love with their captors or whatever. Stockholm syndrome. But they didn't really get into that, especially when they had a character who was a psychologist who could have just name dropped that, you know, and it would have, oh yeah, okay, you know.
Well, I mean, it wasn't even that. Like, I don't think it was necessarily Stockholm syndrome.
I don't think so either, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
is like that would have
really
kind of
allude to anything specific.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. Like if they had said Stockholm syndrome, it would have made more sense.
Right. It's just like, again, you could have added in one line to make it all connect, you know, and make it work for us, but you didn't.
Yeah.
So like that was probably my only like.
Yeah, it shouldn't. I don't think it should have jumped. It felt like it should have just stayed within. I genuine, like they did say like she just like had genuine love, but it wasn't explained that it was just like a pure love as a person, not a romantic love.
It toyed on being friends and being almost like a love interest. I did not do that. Friends and being almost like a love interest. I did not do that. They toyed with it being a friendship and a love interest, but you never really knew which one was which.
Careful.
Well, I gotta bring it closer. You know?
Yeah, and that that was a little stretch.
They never really like pushed it one way or the other or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it's confusing.
Agreed.
But, and again, this is a major spoiler. When he died and she's holding him in her arms, I cried. So it evoked the right emotion for me. Like it pulled on my heartstrings, even though it was weird and awkward. It still did its job and made me connect and see the humanity in him. Yeah. Kind of thing. So.
Yeah. And the whole bringing in a secret society thing, like I knew that there was gonna be something going on, and then when they started showing the tattoos, and it was like, okay, you know.
Yeah, it could not have been more obvious that there was another subplot.
Yeah. So even though I didn't necessarily, I wanted to see more with these characters, I felt like it gave good closure, and it felt genuine within this world for that to be a thing. You know, it didn't feel fake, and it didn't feel just like out of left field necessarily. Like there was at least 4 good twists. There was where he had taken apart the machine. There was where he.
Yeah, I didn't really get that until like way in the end. Like. I understood that he took it, but because of the timeline, it seemed like he took it after for him to use it for something else. I didn't know that he had taken it before.
Right, so that when they did the surgery,
it wouldn't work. So like, I felt like that could have been explained a little bit better, but I eventually got it.
Then, of course, there was the other twist was that that James McAvoy's character
Kevin Wendell
Crumb's dad was on the train that Mr. Glass killed, and then there was the download, and then the secret society. So yeah, 4 good twists. Overall, I was satisfied with it. I don't think it was as bad as people were making it out to be. I mean, it could have been better. It wasn't just like amazing, but it was satisfactory. I thought I was satisfied.
Like last night I was like, man, I mean, like it was good, but it wasn't, you know, I was on the same boat. Like it wasn't just great. In terms of missing out or anything like that, like I respected it enough that I would encourage someone to go see it in theaters because it was truly original. It tied up the series really well. I felt like it was just a decently made movie, and something different. But I would probably only recommend it to people who are into that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
People who like go watch.
If you were already invested in the series, I would say go for sure.
But if you're someone who's just like me, about movies, like I probably wouldn't recommend it to you, because then you're going to give it a negative review, and then you're just going to make other people think that.
It's definitely like there are movies for casual goers and there are movies for movie lovers, and this was like a crafted movie. Like it was a movie for movie lovers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really enjoyed, like, I can't stand going to movies where it's because it's either comic booky or actiony or anything like that, where they spin things around and it's jumping here and jumping there. Like, I can't really, it's hard to watch movies like that. And this movie wasn't like that at all. There were a couple scenes where it was like point of view type filming or whatever, but it wasn't so much that I was just like, oh my goodness, will they stop this or anything like that. Like, it was decent. I mean, I didn't enjoy it, but that's just my personal taste. But it didn't make me hate it or anything like that. I mean, I felt like it was a decent part of the movie or whatever. There was something else that I was going to say about it, and I completely forgot what it was.
We can come back to it if you remember it later.
Yeah,
but we got to be moving on because she does have a doctor's appointment that she got to get to. So number 2, Kraven the Hunter. This is something that Quin was going to talk about. So when Ryan Coogler, the director of Black Panther, was first putting together the script for the first Black Panther, Kraven the Hunter was one of the characters that he wanted to use because there's a really big. Sorry, my phone's ringing. A really big arc in the Black Panther comics with Kraven the Hunter that is like a big fan favorite. And and so he wanted to use it, but at the time, I don't think the Marvel Sony deal with Spider-Man had necessarily gone through, or it was just in the beginnings of it. And and it was the first Black Panther movie, so they weren't really sure how it was going to do or go over. And so there wasn't really a whole lot of pull to try to pull in that character because Kraven the Hunter is one of Spider-Man's villains and technically owned by Sony at the moment. But now, excuse me, but now after Black Panther has become Marvel's biggest movie and Kevin Feige, who runs the Marvel Universe, his favorite Marvel movie, and Black Panther is making history in that it is like the first superhero movie to get a Oscar nomination for Best Picture and Best Cast. It just picked up over this past week the best ensemble cast in a film at the SAG Awards. So it's just rolling through and it's a steamroller right now. And so they've got a lot of momentum. And now that the Sony deal has gone through and Marvel and Sony are on good terms and Spider-Man's doing well, and they've already made the deal with for characters like Vulture, Mysterio, Scorpion, who are appearing in the Marvel side of the Sony verse. So it's possible that now he could have the pull to put Kraven the Hunter as the big bad in Black Panther 2. So that would be very interesting to see that moving forward, even though Sony has mentioned that they want to kind of do a Kraven movie kind of like they did with Venom. So, but that remains to be seen how they work that out, because as of right now, Amy Pascal, who runs Sony, really wants to mesh the Sony and Marvel universes and have Venom and Tom Holland and the guy that played Venom, the two Toms are really pushing to have a movie.
Starts with like an H or something.
Tom Hardy. Yeah. Are really pushing to have their movies joined together and for the universes to be joined. But of course, Kevin Feige's kind of standoffish about that, especially because Amy Pascal is sometimes unpredictable. But we'll see how things go forward, and so that's a possibility. That would be really interesting to see. Number 3 is going to be Game of Thrones. Like I said, there's a lot of because of the teaser that was dropped a couple weeks ago, there's a lot of new information and a lot of cast members coming out able to talk about it just a little bit, just talking about ending the series and what it was like, and it premieres in April, and so there's a lot going on. There's a lot of momentum building up, getting ready for people are getting ready to watch Game of Thrones again, and it's been a year and a half, 2 years since the last season. It's been a long time,
bro.
Yeah, and so you enjoying yourself?
Yeah.
So I've been watching. I found another channel. Like I like Alt Shift X on YouTube. He really does some really.
Look, it looks like a mustache.
It does. You're like Yosemite Sam.
Yeah. It's dead. It's supposed to like fall over. And it's just sticking straight up.
It's got rigor mortis. So
every day it comes home with a new theory.
Yeah. So I found this other channel called like Talking Thrones or something like that, and there's just a lot of content that I haven't watched, so I've been watching a lot of it, and he's got a lot of cool theories about Melisandre possibly being Nisa, where she's going to be the one to have her heart plunged in through with the sword to make the Lightbringer and all that crazy stuff. Some of it's like kind of tinfoil stuff, and some of it's really interesting. But one thing. Sorry. Hey, the girl that plays Sansa,
Sophie
Turner. Apparently, during the entire filming, when they did the battle and everything, she couldn't wash her hair. So, like, almost throughout the entire filming of the whole season, she just had like nasty hair the whole time.
Yes.
So she committed.
I love that because I can't see it when it's like, we've been out here for 40 days and 40 nights. It's like, my eyeliner perfect.
And my
hair
fingernails are clean.
I'll be looking good. I woke up like this. That's so stupid. I can't stand it. So thanks. Yeah. Appreciate you.
Yeah. And Lena Headey was on Jimmy Kimmel recently, and he kept calling her Queen Cersei. So anyways, it was kind of funny. Instead of Cersei.
I get it.
Anyways, okay. So so she said that it was really like just about every cast member has said that Maisie Williams, just about everybody has said that not everyone is going to be satisfied with the ending, that it's bittersweet, and George R. R. Martin said that. But she said when it finally hit her that they had filmed her last scene and everything, it finally hit her and she got really emotional, and she tried to like walk away on her own to go just kind of like pull herself together and process and have a moment. And she said that the cast and everybody just kind of like bum rushed her, and the director gave like a speech and all this stuff, and it was just like she's like overwhelmed in the moment and everything. So
that's really sweet.
Yeah. So it's gonna be 6 episodes of terror and fun. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be one of those things that like you can't believe it's over when it's over because it's been ongoing for so long.
Yeah, and I'm really excited for the spinoffs. They've got at least 5 in the works, but only 1 to 2 confirmed.
If they take as long as Game of Thrones has taken, no one will care.
I don't know. I'll care.
I know.
Yeah. So they're looking good. They're looking good. Some of the cast releases have come out who they're casting in these young actors and stuff. So it's looking pretty good. True Detective. We usually do a little segment with Broken Detective at the end of our top 5, and then the Walking Dead update with the Broken Dead show that we usually do as a podcast on its own. When The Walking Dead comes back, we'll do that. But as of right now, we usually do it after our top 5, but because we're pressed for time and just kind of doing an abridged version, we're going to include that in our top 5. So True Detective, this past week, spoilers, things are getting thick. Excuse me.
It makes me want to just watch the next episode already. It's definitely getting intense. Finding
out more about the girl and where she is and what's going on, and his character and their relation, him and Mahershala Ali's character and his wife, and what's going on with that, and his pride and everything being hurt, and him having dementia or what's going on. It's very, very cool, very interesting. And my scene did get, I acted a little scene on True Detective. It filmed here in Northwest Arkansas, if you're not familiar, or if you haven't listened to other podcasts where I've gone on in length about it. So, yeah, my famous little scene, it didn't get cut. However, I'm sitting like he pulls up to the Sawhorse Bar and he gets out and goes inside. And just as he walks across like the front of the bar and he stops, I should be in view because I'm like the table behind. I was like in the camera. I knew I was going to be in it, but it's blurry. So you can't see me at all. So that's fun. But hey, it was a great experience and I still got paid. So I could put it on my IMDb page.
On that blurry spot back there.
Exactly. Just my character's name was Boca.
I didn't get
the
it.
blur.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyways.
Moving on. The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead. This is our Broken Dead section. Like I said before, we usually do this as a podcast all its own, but right now we're doing updates, and there's less than 2 weeks before The Walking Dead comes back on February 10th. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's coming back quick. And so get ready for that. When The Walking Dead comes back, of course, after the first episode airs, then our first episode, our after show, if you will air. It'll be its own podcast, and you can find that. It is the Broken Dead podcast if you're searching podcasts, and of course you can find that on our YouTube channel as well. So right now it's just going to be a little update. Last week we talked a little about like Negan and what's going on. We talked about episode 9. That we had titles for episode 9 and 10, but I didn't mention episode 10's title. Episode 10's title is Omega, and these 2 episodes were released to the press recently, and so Forbes, Insider, and some of these other ones did little write-ups that were kind of like non-spoilery, but all in all, they're good reviews, and they're saying that The Whisperers is exactly what The Walking Dead needs right now, and it's good. And some of them kind of disagree as to which episode is better, but they agree that it should be watched. Like watch the episode 8, the last episode, and then watch this episode, so you kind of tie it all together because it picks up right after. Like the death of Jesus, of course, spoilers, what's going on. And episode 10, Omega, is going to kind of get some flashbacks and explain like a little bit about Alpha and the Whisperers and where they come from and what their belief system is and who they are. So that'll be really interesting.
So is there a character that's named Omega? Because there's an Alpha, there's a Beta.
Right.
Is there a character from the comics that's Omega?
Not in the comics. So it could be possible that they have gone ahead with that trend and named characters like that.
From the Greek alphabet?
Right. For the show, but that remains to be seen. Omega could just be a reference to Alpha and how she became an Alpha and stuff like that. So we'll have to wait and see that. But it also seems like that Judith, of course, has gotten a lot of Carl's story from the comics in her interaction with Negan. And Henry has gotten a lot of Carl's stories from the comics in his interaction with Lydia and the Whisperers. And of course, we have a run-in thing where we're just kind of like talking about, if you don't know, if you're just a casual watcher, I'm sorry, but spoilers. Most people who are into The Walking Dead know about the Whisperer border. That's a big scene that's in the comics where a lot of main characters die. Alpha and Rick kind of big. Of course, Rick's not in the TV series right now, but in the comics, Alpha and Rick kind of Alpha infiltrates the fair that's coming up, and there's a massacre, and they kind of strike this deal that they'll stay on their side because the Whisperers are very territorial. So they strike this deal that the Whisperers will stay on their side and Rick and the gang will stay on their side. But of course, the Whisperers, because they're savages and they're raw and they're crazy, the way they do that, they build a border, but they abduct several people from the fair and behead them and put their heads on pikes and create this border. And it's a really iconic scene in the comics. And they're, from what I understand, they're planning on going with that in the show. So there's going to be a couple main characters that we know and love that are going to die. In the comics, of course, it was King Ezekiel, Rosita, several other ones. But in the show, of course, it's going to be a remix and it might be different. So get ready for that. Rumors are saying that Henry is one of them that's going to end up on it. But of course, there's no confirmation for that or anything, like just people talking and people Henry hating and stuff like that. But anyways, we can get into that more later next week and that type of thing. So I think that's it for us, unless you have more that you'd like to talk about. All right, so let me go. I don't have any last thoughts. Thanks for tuning in, even though this episode was a little rough and a little short. I'm sorry, I'm on medicine right now, and I'm just kind of spacing out a little bit. If you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, podcast, we appreciate you tuning in, and you can, of course, visit the website. The website is www.broken.picturesno.com, and you can go to the store. Oh, excuse me.
Lord.
Good grief.
You can go to the store, which is
Get a drink.
www.broken.pictures/store.no.com.
Yep, and you can get like posters for stuff like this, and our stickers, magnets, t-shirts, or whatnot. All kinds of
And you
merch.
can also find us on social media on Facebook at Broken Pictures Social, Instagram and Twitter at broken_social, and at Patreon if you're feeling generous at Broken Pictures. But more importantly, please like, share, rate, and review for all of you listeners out there. YouTube viewers, please subscribe and hit the little bell icon. You're not going to do it? You made me do it. Wow, that was weak. Ding. For notifications of new videos. I'm Lydia.
I'm Dylan. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.